Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident Tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now let me take the moment and just preface this current episode with a moment to say, take a breath, because with everything we've had going on these last couple weeks, several weeks actually, between collabs back-to-back, lots of rubies to behold, and lost from Gacha, and just no chance to take a moment of respite, your wish has finally been granted. This week, as well as just a little bit of last week too, was finally that moment of respite that we could all take to finally relax and take a moment to breathe, with no real events or time-consuming things that really require our attention, aside from the occasional daily login, as well as your usual PvP, and maybe something else every here and there. But this is the first real true week where we can just relax. There's nothing overly huge going on, and we can finally recoup on some of those lost Ruby resources, thanks to the final release last week of the story mode, Arc 6, that has finally been continuing after a very long hiatus due to the story writer working on some outside life events and situations. And if that is going well, I do hope and pray that that is certainly finding itself at a resolution. That being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what was announced for this week going forward. And as I said, it was just a little bit light on the stuff, but there is still plenty to be had, especially if you are a newcomer or rookie just getting started into the game. That being said, let's go ahead and jump right in, starting with the Gacha banners that were highlighted. Now, of course, in honor and celebration of the new story chapters that are going live, they are releasing limited time pickup banners of the highlighted main bot cast of the story arcs chapter. Starting the lineup, of course, we have KXK01 Cross Messiah Z with the kits of Full Charge Kai, Spark Shot, and Spark Strike with biped legs and the leg ability of Anger, who can transform into a tank-based form to gain force control, ACG shot, overcharge, tank legs, and the G control leg ability. Behind him, we have KGC0 Evil Rex, the main bot of the character Iku in the game, with the kits of Hide Blow, Slash, Pile, biped legs, and the leg ability of Spearhead. After him, we have FHJ0 Olindi Earth, who we actually have not seen in a while, if I'm being completely honest, with the kits of Confusion, Pile, Effect Clear, Sea Legs, and the leg ability of Shura. We have after him KYB0 Kokono Elegy, with the kit of Confusion, Flame, Level Drain, Multi-Legs, and the Charm leg ability. After her, we have CTC0 Kaka Triple, the Cockatrice type, with the kit of Destroy, Hyper Freeze, Bug, biped legs, and the leg ability of Dead or Alive. And then last but not least, RMM0 Momoiro Maple, the Rosy Mapled Moth type, with the kit of Cyber Core, Survivor, Confusion, Float Legs, and the leg ability of Captor. Now, again, this does look like a lot of Gacha banners, which means your first thought is, oh great, where's all my resources now? Not necessarily the case. The nice thing about pickups is they're always subject to be recycled or rerun at some other point in the future. And while a lot of these bots are most certainly very, very handy to hold on to or make use of, Cross Messiah, especially if you make use of plain old Cross as is, these models are entirely optional. You don't have to go after them if you don't want to, but more or less kind of a case of whatever tickles your fancy, depending on the bot you're looking for. Lots of useful parts though if you do decide to go after one or another, or if you somehow have Lady Luck on your side and all the rubies to spare, you could go after all six. That's entirely your choice. In addition to these six, though, we do actually have some other rather surprising returnees sticking around for quite some time, and that is the release of PRC-0M Dokoka no Oji with Stealth, Double Destroy, Biped Legs, and Clairvoyance, PRC-0F Otogi Princess with Rebirth, All Restore, Revive, Float Legs, and the Barrier leg ability. And then last but not least, GGR0 Gentle Heart with the kits of Stat Cleanse, Double Hammer, Tank Legs, and the Heavy Arms leg ability. Now, these three in particular, compared to the previous six I just highlighted, will be sticking around all month. So these will be starting from 6/1 at the start of June to the very final day of the week cycle at the end of the month on 6/29. Now, these three models in particular, Dokoko no Oji, maybe not so much compared to the other two. Destroy as a 3-star part is nice to have, easy to raise, usually can't hurt with it. Otogi Princess will be an absolute must though if you're looking for any healers that are not particle, but still want to make use of the kind of healing kit that she can make use of, with keeping parts active on the field, or even resurrecting fallen allies. Gentle Heart may be the most tame of them compared to them. I'd say just a little bit under Dokoko no Oji, if not equal in that case, given the fact that tank legs may not seem like much, but heavy arms actually does allow him to pick up pretty fair momentum of speed once he is on the field, and his hammer most certainly packs a punch, despite it being a regular basic heavy hammer. So again, much like the other 6, these are entirely optional as well. You don't have to go after them if you don't want, but because they are sticking around all month, kind of take this at your own leisure more than anything else. With the Fierce battles we have this week, it's going to be a little lower key, thankfully. So again, a moment of respite, thankfully, with the way this week is designed. Starting the lineup is GDR-0 Gun Desperado with Rifle, Double Anti-Air, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Gunman. Behind him, we have HMS-0 Jungarian with Radar Sight, Double Gatling, Float Legs, and the Mascot leg ability. And then last but not least, HWK-0 Fly Falcon with Triple Napalm, Flight Legs, and the Assail leg ability. Now, much like with the Gacha banners, everything this week is going to be pretty much optional. You don't have to go after it if you don't want it, but it never hurts to have just in case. And Fierce battles are most certainly no exception to this. Gun Desperado for free anti-air and Gunman legs, Jungarian for float legs with Mascot, Fly Falcon for flight legs with Assail, and Napalm if you do somehow need it. So, that being said, it was kind of tricky to find an MVP of the week since they all kind of rank roughly about equal in terms of viability. But for the sake of having anti-air coverage, because that is becoming a very big change in the meta, I would have to give the MVP of the week to Gun Desperado for that case. Now, you don't have to raise the arms to 5-star if you don't need to, but it never hurts to raise them at least to 3 just for the sake of having them on hand in the rare instance you may or may not need them. Now, with the events going on this week, again, it is going to be relatively light, but we still do have some pretty nice fun events to kick off the start of June and keep us going. Start of which here, I'm just going to kind of highlight the main highlights with them in particular, starting of which is Story Mode Arc 6 pickup gachas, as I did highlight already. The 6 bots that were mentioned before will be making appearances this week in the gacha, so collect them at your leisure. We do also have 2 new super rare Medarotters joining the pool. I will be going after them in just a moment after this slide, but they will, I believe, be joining the permanent Medarotters pool, so no real rush to pull on them either unless you need them, or just have an attachment with the character. For story mode farming, for new players, veterans, or rookies alike, energy will be halved for the entirety of all story mode arcs for the duration of this event. Now, there is no real... Now, that one actually does have a deadline on it up to 6/29 as well, so pretty much like with the 2 princes and the Gentle Giant, this will be going on all month. So if you are just now joining the game, you came at a really good time, if I'm being completely honest. No collabs to push on people or get fear of missing out. Not a lot of heavy events to confuse players. This is a really good time to relax and kind of learn the game at your pace. The Medarotters and the pickup gachas, I do believe, are kind of to be announced with their expiration dates. Good chance it'll probably be at the end of this coming cycle as planned, but we will have to see. And then lastly, Marathon Survival, which we do actually have this current week with the Medarot DS anniversary, will be sticking around for yet another week. This time highlighting elements from the story mode and highlighting bots from there to be challenged in the marathon mode. For those that are out of the loop or unaware, Marathon Survival is a unique event that for every victory you accrue, the parts you use are added to a banned list, which means you cannot choose from them again. The only way to refresh this banned list is to reach a checkpoint that refreshes the list and empties it entirely. They did also want to take a moment to highlight that they are bringing back an unbanned feature on parts between checkpoints, which means you can unban a handful of parts between those checkpoints to use for a second time, or even more if you're willing to use up the slots for it. But based on the screenshot, you only have 4 free redemptions on that, so choose them very, very wisely if you are going to do them. Once again, Marathon Survival is mostly just a check to see if you've been paying attention to raising other stuff aside from your main parts, but still collecting on a very nice amount of rewards as the event does go on. Now with the super rare Medarotters, just to highlight them, Iku and Hattori will be getting rare and super rare versions added to the permanent pools going forward. Iku's new SR skill will boost your power by 30%, and if you're using biped legs, you get an additional 50% on top of that. So very good for your 1-turn or 2-turn nukers on top of that, and this probably will be the one big one to go after if you are focused on the Medarotters this particular week. Hattori, on the other hand, will negate any cooldown penalties for 1 turn, or essentially 1 cooldown in this case, while also boosting your cooldown stat by about 30% for that same 1 turn. Maybe not as necessary, but cooldown negations are nice to have as well, as it means you won't be slapped with no dodge or no defend, even when using powerful skills like Beam Sword or Ghost Shot, which leave you wide open after actually using them. Now, there is actually another event going live this week as well. This one's not as big of a priority, and I do like to say that this one is probably going to be sticking around all month as well, but this is a special daily event dungeon. Basically put, upon completing the dungeon, you will gain a certain amount of ruby shards to hold on to and accrue that you can use to recoup your ruby collection. Now, you can only challenge this once a day, so make sure you don't forget to add it to your daily doings as the month of June continues, or until this event eventually comes to an end. Now lastly, with the PvP rewards, as we are starting a new month, to highlight the release of the all-month releases and gachas for Dokoka no Oji, for Otoki Princess, and Gentle Heart, they are also highlighting the limited time skins for the online Excavation PvP. This time we are getting Bridegroom Dokoka no Oji, Bride Princess Otogi, and Father of the Bride Gentle Heart in this case. And I was always a fan of Gentle Heart's theme of golems in particular, as well, kind of obvious if you've known me for anything longer than 6 months, but I do really like the designs and the colors that they added for these two. The bright whites and the reds highlighting a lot of very major elements of a wedding kind of design, and the Father of the Bride design that they did give to Gentle Heart is really nice too. Now, to earn these, you simply just have to participate in online PvP, and you will have a chance to earn any combination of these as the fights do go on, and you participate in those. But much like many other events, online PvP also is very lucrative if you do find yourself in need of something to do. So make sure you don't miss out on these as well, especially if you are a Medarot 5 fan and have been waiting for these two for a while. On the community front, we are still always looking for translators to assist us with any translation projects or endeavors. Currently, Medarots 3 and 4 are the big main projects right now, with Medarot Reloaded kind of taking a back burner. Medarot 3 is currently close to about 70% completion or so at current time of recording, so wonderful progress has been made, but we still do need assistance with that. So if you are knowledgeable in coding or cleaning or Japanese and have some time on your hands, definitely reach out to me or join us in our Discord in the link provided below, and we can get you in touch with the right people to fill you in. Same can be said for Medarot 4, that is currently still undergoing decompilation, and the Reloaded manga, which all chapters have been collected, but only a very small handful of them have actually been translated. So again, if you'd like to help, reach out to me or join our community and ask around. We'll get you in touch with the right people. Now lastly, this is more just kind of a personal musing of mine on a couple of factors. First of which is, this is episode 103 that I've been currently airing the Medarot News Network. Next week actually marks my 2-year anniversary since I first opened the doors and founded the Medarot News Network. So it's a pretty big anniversary if I'm being completely honest. I never even thought I'd make it this far with the kind of following that I've reached. And on the topic of followers, at current time of recording, I still have also amassed 602 subscribers officially on the channel. So I do want to take a moment and say thank you so much for all the support you've given to me through these last couple of years. Honestly, I really don't think I would have been able to make it this far, and I probably would have given up pretty early on if I didn't have the continual encouragement to show that shows me people are actually watching my stuff and enjoy what I put out. On that topic though, this actually does lead me to my current question, and I'm not going to call it a dilemma per se, but I am going to officially open up the comments for discussion and suggestions at this point, so I would love to see a lot of participation in those, since I really don't see a lot there. But, as you see here with the 4 playlists I have put together, the Roll Battle Analytics, my weekly episodes, the regraded playlist, and my Tutorials 101, I've amassed a pretty fair amount of videos and views with these. But I would like to do more. So, that leads to my first question. With all of the analytics, regraded or not, that I have done over these last 2 years, what is a Medarot that I have previously covered that you think I graded unfairly, or you think that deserves a second look, or a third look in some cases, because the meta changed or something wasn't quite realized at the time they were first analyzed? Who do you think that I should regrade in this, regrade in this case, and why? The second question I want to ask is, what kind of other content would you like to see me do aside from my weekly videos and my analytics? I have said for a number of weeks I do have some other plans I'd like to do, but I would like to know what you guys want to see, because I'm a content creator putting on a show. It's all for the audience that I do this for. So if you guys do have any suggestions on that, again, leave them in the comments below. Start a discussion, and I absolutely read those comments, guys. There's a reason I love all those comments when you comment on them, because I read those. I don't do that just to show that. I do legitimately read those. So do please leave comments in the discussion below and start conversations on that to get something going. Now, on the docket, on the second point, I do currently have a what is Medarot themed idea kind of dancing in my head. I do want to redo the metals tutorial 101, because the overclocking metals has made things notably easier and changed a couple fair behaviors of what we've been leading up to this point with how to raise them, as well as the tutorials in general. I kind of want to redo, kind of crunch them down to maybe less than 10 minutes if I can help it. Ideally 5 to 7 if I can help it, but we will have to see. But again, if you'd like to see those or even more content, please tell me, put it in the comments. I do read those, and I will be trying to put that into the docket on slow weeks like this going forward after my 2-year anniversary. On the weekly art highlights here on the MNN, both these pieces are equally as wonderful as any other piece I have selected. This piece here by Twitter user MNKShiki, who is the artist and designer for Dead Dog, decided to actually draw their favorite dead boy with the shape memory ability active, according to the context and the post, kind of showing a very battered and bruised Dead Dog, but he just refuses to go down. And as I said when I retweeted this, you can't keep a good boy down. He's honestly the goodest boy, just a little ripe if I'm being completely honest, but honestly, I have to say, Dead Dog is probably one of my favorites of the 3 Ori Meta contest winners we've had of this recent batch. Night Queen and Harry Rabbit are both really creative in their own rights, but I do have to give that top spot to Dead Dog in this case. And this piece here by Twitter user Ishigaki02, who did a very lesser-known pro tag in this case, Koichi Maru of Medarot 5 with his partner of KWG version, Shinzan in this case, showing a more relational friendship between the two. And it's always nice to see soft art like that, and it's something you really don't see highlighted very often in Medarot fan art, and I absolutely love seeing that. So if you do have art like that, or you do art like that, please let me know. I will share it. I absolutely will. Whether I retweet it or highlight here, I will love to see it. That being said, though, on topic of back to the MNN, I do believe that covers everything for this week's episode, so as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping by, just as you always do. If you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever community on there. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below if you'd like to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new merchandise that's announced, fan art, my weekly episodes, updates, or announcements regarding the series. That's the first place you're going to hear it before they go anywhere else. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter at Isagamikura. If you have any questions or feedback or comments, or would just love to stop in and say hello, I leave my DMs open for that very reason, so don't be a stranger and feel free to say hi. In addition, if you are a streamer, YouTuber, or VTuber and would love to collaborate, whether that means having you here with me on my channel, or me stopping in on yours as a guest star, I would love to coordinate with you. So feel free to stop on in my DMs as well, say hello and ask around, and we can definitely try to make something happen and find a unification of schedules and make something happen with a game or a guest host, whether it be on one channel, the other, or even on both. Lastly, do give these pages on Twitter a follow as well, the official Medarot page at Medarotcha and the official Medarot page at Medarot. If you want to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action and the news straight from the source, those are definitely the channels that you want to follow, as they are very constantly active about stuff around the game, art they share every once in a while, anything else of the like. You will absolutely see it on there too. That being said, though, again, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping by, just as you always have. And once again, thank you for nearly 2 years of support and encouragement and over 600 subscribers at time of recording. That being said, until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.